Had to take a break there a second. Had GoPro problems again.
There's that wet hose right here. We've also got wet hard lines. It looks like it's leaking from the hydraulic valve maybe, but I think it's just going down. So,
looks like one of these lines coming off the cylinder on the right side. These cylinders need to get re-sealed too, but they didn't seem interested in doing that. Funny story is I got them these wheels off eBay. They're foam filled, so they're solid filled tires. And this was back in like 2021, I think. Bought them out of Texas. The guy shipped them on a pallet. I talked to the guy and he said they all came from South Dakota, from the Gale manufacturing facility. Evidently Gale's facility was flooded in 21 or something. Maybe that was part of that Red River Valley flood. I can't remember, but flooded out and they auctioned everything off, and he bought like 2 semi-loads of wheels that were brand new, sold them on eBay. So fun little side story there. I see our auxiliary attachment couplers are leaking out the female one, and maybe this one too, both of them. Seems like those things are always leaking. As far as I know, they don't use that at all. So, and actually, I think I bumped it too. I think I bumped the auxiliary. So, it's fine. All right, another project. We'll get to work on it. Raise the loader arms up and put a board under the top of the cab to hold the arms up for safety. I don't see the safety thing on this. They're supposed to, I'm pretty sure this one would have had that, where a piece of like channel falls in place when the boom arms are all the way up, but I don't see that, so I'm just going to use a piece of landscaping timber.
should allow me to get these two lines off. I'm just going to do both hoses since we're in here. It's mainly the one for downforce that's leaking, but as long as you're in there, might as well do both of them. They look like old original hoses, actually. They gotta be possibly original, because they're the old brass ferrule, brass crimp. I think that was Eastman that made those. So nobody uses brass anymore that I know of, except for maybe a air brake line. So yeah, we're gonna get those out. Okay, now for the fun part. Try and catch what we can here. I'll put a plug in there. We don't get too much loss of fluid. Now for even more fun. Holy cow. This thing needs a good steam cleaning. Alright, that should keep it fairly clean when I take it apart. I think we'll take this fitting off so that the whole line will lay down and out of the way, because I don't think I can get both wrenches in there. Let's see if we can find a plug. Maybe we won't dump all the oil out of the cylinder. Keep the cylinder clean. It's not even dripping. But this will keep it clean while I run to town and get some hoses. Actually, What the heck am I doing? Let's take the whole thing out of there. Looks like it's done dripping. Yeah, that's way smarter. Let's do that. Drain the whole cylinder, and that's a lot of fluid loss, so we shall cap that temporarily. If you do any amount of hydraulic work, it's really wise to go to your local hydraulic shop and get like a whole assortment of various sized JIC pipe plugs, rather fitting plugs, caps and plugs. That way if you take something apart, you can cap it right away and not lose a whole bunch of fluid. Keep it clean while you have it apart, and these will seal to full pressure if you do need to cap something that's still installed. And they're better than plastic because these actually will seal tight. I've used these when I've stored a cylinder, like if I was gonna store a used cylinder somewhere, I just cap them with these things, and no water, no nothing gets in there then. One thing you always want to do with new hoses is blow them out. When they cut them at wherever you have your hoses made, it always leaves some rubber dust and possibly some metal filings or whatever, so definitely want to get those blown out and clean before using them. Yeah, you hope it's not bad in the transmission. All the research I did, the parts are hard to get, and they're just not great. Not great machines, I guess. But
now this still is he still in operation there, or is that there's like consumption fitting in between?
Alright, so my plan for this janky throttle arrangement repair is I'm going to replace all these ball joint ends. They're all kind of worn out and stuff. I got new rods. I think what I was thinking what I would do is, this thing is just like pivoting on a bolt, and that's not good. I mean, that's not right at all. That would mean you'd have to oil the thing every day or something. So what I was thinking is I'd put this flange bearing in here. It's got set screws on it. I'll put a piece of 3/4 round through here. Weld the 3/4 round to maybe this plate. I could probably reuse that or make another one. And that way it would pivot smoothly and easily. Looks like I'll have to shim that. I just noticed it's rubbing on the bottom when it's flat. It's always something. I'll just shim this with a couple washers. That'll give a nice smooth rotation. There, I know this is, it's not good to run a bearing that way, just a few degrees, but it'll probably last a long time, and with set screws, it can just be replaced someday or whatever, so. Anyway, I think that's the plan for that. That should get this all improved a lot, because this, I noticed when I was driving it around, you can't really adjust the throttle accurately. It just kind of goes wherever it wants to go. Of course, it's had the old baling wire fix here, so that's normal, but it's not going to work, so. Yeah, we'll get to cutting some parts here and make it happen. get all these removed. Well, it's already loose. There's a fair amount of play in this throttle shaft, but definitely not good. But they don't want it fixed, so we're just going to leave it. This turns way too stiff. I don't know if it was looser at one time, maybe when it had a lot of oil freshly put on it, but this is a pretty bad idea for any kind of long-term solution. I guess it's a good idea, it's just poorly executed. There's nothing really wrong with this plate, and we know it did work, so I think I'll just reuse it. That was completely worn out. Okay, we can sit that there. There's our 3/4 round. And then we'll just weld that to that. Alright, we'll mark these holes, where these holes should go. Alright, we'll put a washer on top, washer on the bottom.
This will be a lot of work. This is fun.
Well, welded whatever we call it. Make sure that's up a little bit so it doesn't rub.
Dad,
Mm.
these long ones could go right here.
Yeah, I got a certain spot for those. Those are called carriage bolts. They're meant to like go into wood.
What are these called?
Carriage bolts.
What's a carriage?
All right, we got a
Dad,
what?
what
A
are
rod for
these
that.
called?
It's like 1032. And I don't have any regular ones except for one, so I'll use these ones with a built-in star washer. That'll work for a jam nut. Now we'll have to do some bending and modifying here, maybe. Or it might just work like that. Ooh. Now these are both, I ordered all right-hand thread. I could have got left-hand thread to make it easier to adjust, but actually I don't know if they had right left-hand thread rod. Can't remember. But this will work.
Dad, look it.
What is it?
Finger.
Yeah, those are bushings. Like oil light.
Finger.
Oh yeah. There, we'll just get these kind of tented. There, that's idle. Okay, we're back at idle. Put some of these together. This one, I think we're going to have to bend it. Don't know what our maximum angle is there. Try to keep that straight instead of operating like that. That one has to go straight up there. I think that's an idle stop screw. So, yeah. Idle goes back. There. Okay. So we got to put a bend in this. Probably right here. So this will come in and up. As for the angle, we're just kind of guessing. We'll just clamp it in the vise. Try a little bit first. See if that's enough. That one goes there. Aha. But we need to be back. Hey, William, can you go in there and run the throttle lever? Let me show you where it is. Okay, you crawl under the cord. Go under there. Okay. Jump in there. See that red lever?
Yeah.
Go all the way forward, all the way back a few times.
Then we'll start.
No, it won't start. I'm just trying to see where this thing is going to go. I think it's all the way back now. Can you run it all the way forward? Whoa, is that all the way forward? Oh, okay, how about all the way back? Huh. Yeah, not moving very far. Well, the whole engine is moving. Okay, go all the... Great job, bud. All right, we're going to shorten these up. I think this one is a little long. I think I can just shorten what thread is there and probably get just about right. All right, let's try that. So idle, that puts us here. That should be better. Yep. That should work pretty well. Yeah. Now we're getting pulled back into idle. Perfect. Before, this was going too far this way, and it still wasn't reaching idle. In fact, it might be a little short. I could probably lengthen these slightly. I think we can just tighten this one up, get all the ball joint areas, or the little ball joints centered. Once you tighten these, sometimes it wants to twist everything out of shape, so we don't want that. All right, we're going to start it up and see how this newfangled throttle contraption works. A noisy fuel pump. It's idling. Okay, it's working great. All right, we're going to start it up and see what our max RPM is. What the heck? Can't be right. No way it's idling at 1900 RPM. All right, I got a little worried there got a little worried because my tachometer reading was so high on the strobe light, the timing light. And then I realized I think this is Ford's, this single coil pack. It's actually just 2 coils in there, I believe. Yeah, so there's 3 wires. There's 2 coils. You're running ignition power in the center, gets 12 volts. And these outer 2 go back to the ignition module right there. And it actually fires each one twice because it's what they call wasted spark. So that will, as far as I can tell, that's going to double our tachometer readings on the timing light. So let's see if we can try this again. Oh, come on now. Yeah, so this is our idle. Oh, 1800, so we're idling at maybe 900 RPM. I'd say it probably sounds like that. Sounds about right. So now, according to the 742 service manual, we should be running with the Ford engine 1.5 liter at 2800 RPM max. So double that would be 5600, right? Oh, if I can make this thing stay in one spot. Right, 2000. So we're 100 RPM over. I don't think I'm going to worry about that too much. Pretty sure they don't run it that fast anyway. Burns too much gas. Seems like you always see people running a skid loader at about half RPM or less. It's not great for it either. Anyway, I think we're good on that. All right, last complaint for this machine is the quick attach Bobtach engagement levers. These things are always a problem on these machines, but they get beat up, they don't get engaged all the way, or they just get bent. So this one, yeah, it looks like it's pretty much, could go a little farther, because this one is definitely farther on the left hand side. Now, of course, this all settled. So they are engaged even though the levers are up. That's pretty crazy. But they should go down in there. Yeah. There's no problem with that. That's what it's supposed to do. Maybe this one is stuck or something. This one needs to go further down in there. But well, maybe when he said they're bent, it's because they're bent like that. You wouldn't want them all the way forward though, because then your handle hit here. You kind of want them like in the middle. I can just put a pipe on there and center them, I guess. Should be easy enough. That one's in the middle. This one's tight. Could use a little lubrication. Smidge more. There, that's better. I'll set that pipe over there so I forget where it is again. I think I'll just get in there and put a bunch of oil on all this stuff. Actually, I'll blow the rust dust out first, then put some oil in there. I like to use stuff like this. I like to use 30 weight non-detergent. I get from the local Fleet Farm store, but if you use a detergent oil, it's probably gonna kind of wash itself away with the detergent action. But with a non-detergent, it's a good thing for lubricating pins and things where you don't use grease, because it'll kind of stay there longer. Still got a squeak to it, but I think that's the pin down below, and I probably don't want to put too much lube on that. That'll just be stuck someday with oily, greasy grime. Our pins fixed up front, battery cable replaced. They did mention that they thought it had an extended cranking time, but it could be, I mean, that carburetor throttle shaft is worn out. I don't know if that could lean it out a little bit, or unless it's some other ignition related problem, but I mean, it starts. Seems to start just fine, so. All right, well, I think we got another one fixed today. Wasn't a huge project, not super complicated or anything, but interesting. And if you have to work on something similar, hopefully some of these things I've worked on would help you. Yeah, I think we're going to call this one done. It was a giant snowstorm last night, so my whole front of my door here is like a 3-foot drift in front of it, so I think I'm just gonna drive this thing out and drop the forks and use it like a dozer and just push as much snow out as I can, get it out away from the door. And then we haven't had much snow this season, so my snowblower is not currently set up and working. And I wish I would have done that yesterday, so. But whatever. I'll probably bring it in now and set the snowblower on it. Maybe I can blow by tonight, because it's kind of wet out there. Snow's too wet to blow anyway, so. Anyway, you guys in Florida don't care about that, so I'll just shut up and end this video with a thank you for watching, and hope you like and subscribe and tell your friends. All right, thanks. See you on the next one, and thanks for watching Al's Service.